Good morning and welcome to Detroit Unspun TV. My name is Dave Lingholm and I will be your tour guide for the next half hour of stories about the transformation of metropolitan Detroit. This week we're focusing on fashion. So we'll have interviews with Adriana Pavan from the Detroit Fashion Collective, a good look at the Peacock Room, and of course everything that you look for in our Dig Downtown 5. So sit down, put away the mouse, and enjoy the next half hour of Detroit Unspun TV. In headlines this week, Marge Sorge, the executive director of the Detroit Regional News Hub, received some photos of Belle Isle that helped spark quite a few good memories for her. Her post on our blog includes 38 photos of life at one of Detroit's most popular parks. Now, I had the opportunity to interview George Takei prior to his appearance at the Detroit Symphony Orchestra last weekend. And he was excited to come to Detroit to see the transformation of the city that he keeps hearing so much about. But he was also excited to come to visit the Arab American National Museum to see an exhibit that he had a hand in creating. Now, Park Players Detroit kicked off their latest show last weekend, and Ashley Hennon documents how important this community theater is to the Detroit neighborhood known as Rosedale Park. Now, if you're interested in checking out Park Players Detroit, be sure to get tickets soon because the curtain closes on their production of Urinetown, March 31st. Finally, Marge Sorge also documented many of the changes that have occurred in downtown Detroit in the last year. From launching incentives like Live Downtown to public safety initiatives like Project Lighthouse, this has been a particularly busy year in downtown Detroit. Now, to keep up with transformational stories like these, make sure you visit our blog by simply surfing over to blog.thedetroithub.com. Today's show has a fashion theme, and I can't think of a better way to kick off a show about Detroit and fashion than by giving you an interview with Adriana Pavan of the Detroit Fashion Collective about how that collective is working to strengthen our region's fashion identity. So, Adriana, first of all, it's interesting that you're from LA and you come to Detroit and start to set up things like the Detroit Fashion Collective. Why Detroit? Why come here?
I get this question all the time from people, friends from LA, friends from New York, that constantly ask why Detroit. My question is why not? We have overpriced real estate in New York, we have pollution in LA, and we have the space here. We have fantastic people, we have such a talent here, and I feel the talent here is just so genuine. People do things because they love it, and you can't buy that, And so I feel that we can build the infrastructure here. We have the space, we have the people, we're bringing the resources, so my question to them is why not?
And I know that there are a lot of people probably pretty hungry for a place like the Detroit Fashion Collective because there's talent here, especially in the fashion industry. I think we've seen a lot of that talent displayed lately, but they don't want to have to move. They don't want to have to go to LA or New York. How much has that played a role into your decision to stay here?
Well, I've always been in the fashion industry. I've been living in Detroit for the past 15 years, and I never seen the need to leave. I can go to LA and sell my work from here and make money, leave the money here in the community, so why leave? I feel we have a huge opportunity because we have the talent. We can export here from Detroit. We don't have to leave.
So why go?
Why go?
That makes sense. So what was behind your decision to create the Detroit Fashion Collective? And tell me a little bit about what the collective actually does.
So the collective is a place where we can centralize resources. If you have a particular talent that you want to pass on to the community, we're the perfect platform. Why? Because we're bringing all of the different resources that walk people through the chain of the industry in an ethical way. We connect them with people that will really help them. We have the resources that will help them get their business started, from sourcing. If you have a question where to find fabric, we'll help you source the fabric. If you have, whatever you need may be. I've been working for the past 2 years making those connections that are invested not only to make money, but they're really interested on helping the community and helping the community succeed.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I think that's what was interesting to me when I first came here was the idea that you are taking that budding designer and saying, here is somebody with a lot of experience with this fabric. Let's work with them. Or you need help marketing this line. Let me put you in touch with so-and-so. How long has it taken you to develop those connections here? And how open are people to doing business with the collective?
People are a little bit apprehensive because the matter of fact is that we don't have a huge industry. So everybody that has been doing it for a while is an expert. However, when you take that knowledge and you compare it to what's outside the state, are we really being competitive? Mm-hmm. So I think that people have been burned more than once because there's not enough resources. And why? Because there's no accountability. I feel that that's one of the key components that we have here. The fact that we have people that are super talented, they have experience with the international market, however, they are invested in the community, so they really want people here to succeed. Mm-hmm. And that's something that I am very proud of, the fact that we have the sense of community and accountability that will help the designer not only with one aspect, but with the whole process of their business.
So we're running short on time, believe it or not. So if somebody wants to become a part of the Detroit Fashion Collective, what do you have coming up and how can they get plugged in?
Okay, so whatever the realm, if you want training, if you want to launch your line, if you want to teach, we're hosting a symposium, the very first symposium of the fashion industry. We've been able to partner up with Challenge Detroit, Style Line, Figo Salon, Tech Town, tons of wonderful resources that people, even if you're looking for a job, if you have a talent, you're looking for a job, there's tons of practitioners that are looking. We hope that people can join us on March 24th and 31st from 10 to 4 and come and share their experience. The idea is to bring a fashion district here to Detroit.
Great. Well, gracias and buena suerte. Do you have an interest in fashion? Have you thought about making it a business? Maybe you want to become a fashionpreneur. This next story is for you.
Today we're with Dana Keaton. She's a local fashion designer. She has her own fashion collection, but even better, she pays it forward. She's teaching local Detroit area youth how to get into the fashion industry and learn how to make great designs themselves. Thank you so much, Dana, for taking time to speak with us today.
You're welcome.
Can you tell us, I hear the program is called Fashionpreneur, kind of off of entrepreneur. Mm-hmm. Tell us about it.
Well, the Fashionpreneur program is set up for youth, usually female, but sometimes I get some male students involved. And the students are 11 years old to 17 years old. And I teach them not only fashion, but I teach them the business side. And that's why it's called Fashionpreneur.
That's great. So where are some of the locations that you're teaching these classes at?
Well, currently I'm teaching a class at Youthville, Detroit, Don Bosco Hall, and the Jewish Community Center out in West Bloomfield.
That's great. So I know that you recently had the kids get involved in Fashion Detroit, which must have been such a thrill for them. Can you tell us how that happened and how that experience turned out for them?
Yes, I was actually teaching a program out at the Janice Chera Gallery out at the Jewish Community Center in West Bloomfield, and they developed and created recyclable materials and created clothing out of them. And we had everything from a jumpsuit to a ball gown, skirt and top, and it's all made out of recyclable materials. So they use materials such as potato chip bags and old neckties. So once they finished their designs, we said, hey, let's do a fashion show. So we said, let's see if Joe Ferris would MC our fashion show. So I gave him a call, and he said, oh my God, I would be happy to do it. So that's how it developed. And after he emceed the show and he actually saw the designs, he said, oh my God, can we get these students in fashion in Detroit? And I said, absolutely, they would be thrilled.
It's my first time. It's the most stressful, most proud moment, I think, of my life. I mean, it's incredible. I went into Miss Dana, my instructor, I went into her class thinking that it would be a fashion drawing class. And then I found out that I would actually be making clothing. Now, I've never touched a sewing machine in my life. I had no idea what I was doing. And I said, Miss Dana, I don't think I could do this. And she's like, you know, you can, you will, and it will be amazing. And she really helped guide me through the whole process. She's really fun. She's like really cool, and she's funny. And it's just pleasant working with her. Like, it's a great experience, and I actually look forward to designing with her.
What an opportunity for these young kids. Now, was there a reason why there was a focus on the recycled materials?
It's a specific project that I teach. I think we should be more aware of the environment. And the way it goes is, if something happens today where we can't go out and buy designer outfits, where will we get our clothing from? How will we create it? If there's no manufacturers, no designers. So this is a way that the students can be creative, if such a thing happens, and have designer clothing.
Now, have you followed any students after they turn 17 and graduate from your program? Have you any stories from kids that started with you and have gone off somewhere?
Oh my God, I can't get rid of them, actually. I have a student who's at the Art Institute in Chicago, and she's studying fashion design. And she is actually coming back every time she comes home, and she's coming to visit my classes and to make sure that she tells me everything she's doing that's related to fashion. And I love it. I'm still mentoring them even after they leave my program.
That's wonderful. So you're getting them at a young age, and a lot of these kids are transcending into a career in fashion. That must be so rewarding for you. Where can a child that's interested maybe learn to sign up for this?
Well, they can contact me through my website, which is www.danakeaton.com. Very simple. And they can just shoot me an email and say, I'm interested in the program. The program fills up really fast. So if they're interested in a summer program, they should contact me right away.
Dana, thank you so much for making a contribution to our youth and to the fashion industry. This is Natalia Petrozuk reporting from Midtown Detroit. Back to you, Dave.
So with all of this talk of fashion in Detroit, where do you go in Detroit to get the fashion? The Peacock Room opened up recently, and it's a really unique space and a really cool building. Here is an inside look at the Peacock Room.
We are with Rachel Lutz. She is the owner of this beautiful boutique at the Park Shelton in Midtown. It's called the Peacock Room. It is just elegant, lovely all around, from the actual facility itself to the pieces that she's holding. And I'm so proud of her. It's 4 months, right, that you said that you've opened this place. Tell us about how it got started and how you pick the wonderful pieces that we see here.
Well, I got started less than 4 months ago. We've been open less than 4 months, and I picked this location in the Park Shelton because it's really in the heart of everything. This is right across the street from the Detroit Institute of Arts. You're straddling two college campuses, Wayne State University, College for Creative Studies. You're in between all of the medical facilities, Henry Ford Hospital, DMC. The pieces that you see that I've selected have come from all over, really. I travel to Chicago and New York, to other cities, and that's where I scout a lot of my things, both new and vintage.
What can we expect for this spring season?
What can you expect for the spring season? Anything that I carry, no matter what the season, I carry basic pieces, but there's always something a little bit special about them. And people ask me what types of things do I carry, and I say anything that would get you a compliment. So, things with a little extra special touch, things with embellishment. really kind of a variety of looks. And for spring, summer, I have some things that are very, soft and feminine. I have some other things that are a little more fun and flirty and edgy, a little bit of everything in between, because that's really kind of the definition of the neighborhood here. There's a little bit of everything.
Now, this space is beautiful. You were just telling me that you unveiled some of the things. There was carpeting, hiding this marble floor, all these things. I think people need to come in just to see the space as well. Don't you agree?
A lot of people have made the boutique a destination, even just to see the space that it's housed in. You're now in the 1926 dining room of a luxury hotel, and this was all hidden behind drywall and drop ceiling and carpeting. We accidentally uncovered it during the build out. So really what you see is a palatial surrounding. You have plasterwork, you have mirrors, you have columns, the marble floor. So yes, a lot of folks have come just to see the space, and then they're kind of hooked once they get in, once they see the product.
We read that you did something with the Inside Out Literary Arts program, so you're doing philanthropic things as well. Tell us about that.
I am doing philanthropic things because I think that's the responsibility of a small business owner. I think that small business is really social. It can be social change disguised as capitalism. So for the Inside Out event, it's a group that teaches literary arts to students, many of whom are in the Detroit public school system. And that night, we did a shopping night where I contributed a percentage of the sales for the entire day. We had Carol Harris, who's a fabric artist. She donated proceeds from her scarves. We had Terry Blackhawk donate proceeds from her book. And long story short, we ended up raising almost $4,000. It was almost $2,000, which was then doubled by another donor. So I think that through small business, we can also achieve things to help continue growth in the community.
Is there a website or something that people can visit to check out some of what you're offering?
I do a lot of Facebook updating for the Peacock Room, so people can find the Peacock Room on Facebook. Our website is still growing, but it's peacockroomdetroit.com. They can join our online customer list, and that way I keep track of their size and their favorite designers, so when things come in, I'll keep them updated.
Rachel, kudos to you for doing such a great job. This is a must-see boutique. It's the Peacock Room in the Park Shelton. We encourage you to check it out. This is Natalia Petrozek reporting from Midtown Detroit. Back to you, Dave.
So with all this fashion that you now know where it came from and where to get it, where do you wear it? Here are 5 suggestions where you can wear it in downtown Detroit this weekend. St. Patrick's Day is Saturday. Rivers of green beer will be flowing from the taps of pubs everywhere in Metro Detroit. And for at least one day, everybody you meet is going to tell you that they're Irish. And the smell of corned beef and cabbage is going to tempt you mightily all weekend long. But intoxication does not need to be the order of the day when you come to downtown Detroit this weekend. You can still have a great weekend of fun regardless of how much you want to imbibe. Want proof? Check out these 5 suggestions this week and let us know what you think. And number 1, the first exhibition of the people of Detroit. And Noah Stevens is more than just a talented photographer. His focus on the photos themselves does not diminish from his ability to tell a great story. His blog is a must-read if you want a good look at the people who call Detroit home. And by hosting this event at the Detroit Long-Term Planning Headquarters, he's doing it so he can make sure that more Detroiters have their voices heard. And number 2, cocktails and contacts at Siva Detroit. Siva has long been a staple of Ann Arbor's vegetarian food scene. And with the second home now in Detroit, it's your chance to enjoy great vegetarian food right here in your own backyard. Now, this casual business mixer is hosted by the Urban Land Institute and is a perfect excuse for you to get to Midtown to check out this restaurant. Number 3, Perspectives on Photography, Detroit. Now, if you've been to the Detroit Institute of Art to check out the Detroit Revealed photography exhibit, you really will enjoy hearing the perspectives of the photographers who let their lenses do the talking for them during this exhibit. And if you haven't witnessed it, let this be your impetus to get to the DIA. Number 4, Storyteller, Corktown. Now, for those of you who want to enjoy St. Patrick's Day without the impending hangover, check out this Irish-themed dinner at Colors Detroit and learn a little bit about the history of Corktown while you're at it. And number 5, The Troublemakers, Frida and Diego in Detroit. The Freedom Forum says of this event, in time, someone would have told the story of Frida in Detroit, but maybe that story is told best by a journalist like Luis Aguilar, a journalist with Mexican roots, who feels the way the city can push you away and pull you closer, all in the same moment. From outside Detroit's newest cupcakery, just baked in downtown Detroit, that's this week's Dig Downtown 5. If you're a guy and you want to be fashionable, one of the key accessories you must have is a good hat. And one of the best places to get a good men's hat in Metro Detroit is at Henry the Hatter in downtown. We revisit this interview with the staff at Henry the Hatter for this week's Detroit People.
People I've never even met say, "Oh, you're the grandson. I know who you are. Look, that's little Henry. Oh yeah, that's little Henry right there." And I'm like, "Yep." You know, it's cool. They're like, "I knew your granddad, and he was a bad old man." And like, you know, it's cool. You know, it's just like they're kind of like your friends, even though you and like I said, people I've never even met before. And then I get to know people, like the people that come in, the celebrities, the music videos, everyone wants a hat from Henry the Hatter, you know, just the excitement. I don't know, it's crazy. It's not your average store. We've been through a lot. It was like the Great Depression, just the riots, recessions, just, I don't know, somehow we're still here. We've managed to survive. It's just, you know, just the name itself. I mean, when my family walked into it, it was already well established, and a lot of the other hat stores in Detroit have gone under. And there used to be a hat store on every corner, and now there aren't too many. I personally have gotten more like of an eye for what styles fit different people, why, you know, what colors look good on people, and also how to clean and block hats and shape them, and anything from style to quality to, like I said, I guess just getting an eye for what different styles look good on different people. Now, you know, when I first started, I couldn't really tell the difference between a lot of different hats, but now I can tell, you know, quality from garbage, and I don't know. We have just the regular baseball caps, the Detroit Tigers caps. I mean, I love my Detroit Tigers caps. I have mine at home. I was watching the game yesterday. But you can't go wrong with something like this, you know, obviously. People just are like crazy. The outfits they bring in from the Broadway, they buy a suit at the Broadway, just the colors, their personalities, and very friendly, just very like welcoming, and you almost, it's very weird. It's not like another store, I feel like, you know, it's not like a department store where you just walk in and like people just like turn away when they see you. It's like you're more engaged, it's more personal. It's not so much, let me just sell you something and take your money. It's like, how are you? How are your kids? Like, I mean, it might sound like almost like superficial, but it's, I don't know. It's just different. It's a different vibe. I like it.
Well, that does it for another week of Detroit Unspun TV. And as always, there is a lot that goes into making this show happen every week. My thanks to Jeremiah and Ashley behind the cameras, Natalia in front of the cameras, of course to Adriana from the Detroit Fashion Collective for the sweet t-shirt, and of course you, the viewer, for watching. Buena suerte, Detroit.